thing. Problem is that they made it so the mechanic is untoggable, and then you can't actually choose whether you want the shortcut or not. I remember when we first played the E3 demo, most professional players absolutely despised the shortcut mechanic because all it did is that every time we were trying to do a fast full hub or we were trying to just pretty much get out of the way and do something specific, it would just buffer a short hub area when we didn't intend to. They should have made it instead an option that you could just configure in the controls. So it is absolutely a valid critique, and it's one of the things that I think a lot of people dislike even to this day.
In Smash Ultimate, only one action can be buffered at a time, and if you happen to buffer multiple actions, then the game needs some way of deciding which action it will perform. Ultimate chooses which buffered action it performs via this thing called the order of priority, which I've realized while recording audio for this video spells out OOP, which is extremely appropriate for what I'm actually thinking. As you can probably...
That's valid.
This is a list of actions that you can buffer in order of priority. But here's the weird part. Chilling out right at the very top of the order of priority list is short hop aerial. So you can't buffer dash grabs or dash attacks or other stuff like that that is technically two actions, but you can buffer short hop aerial. It's the exception to the rule because it's treated by the game's buffer system like it's one action.
Just the way they decided to make the list of buffering, the amount of buffering, just everything about it, honestly, just wasn't really that functional. And it sounds good a lot of the time, but in practice, especially when you're playing and the faster you're trying to go, the more inputs you're trying to make, and you add on top of that lag, latency, and all this, and also small little factors such as wireless controllers or monitor delay, it just makes the experience of Ultimate so much watered down than it actually is. It feels like it's a technical problem that they should have been addressing, and because of the way they have been patching the game, I feel like they have no intention of actually fixing it, and in my opinion, it's one of the most concerning issues.
So on the order of priorities list, short hop aerial is higher than jump and attack are as respective actions. And you know what this means, right? It means you can't buffer full hop aerials.
The issue is, if you're stuck in shield and you're trying to purposely do a full hop aerial, you have to do it as slow as possible, so then you don't short hop a random aerial attack. It is extremely upsetting.
Alright, now let's talk about point 2. This is design and balance. With Control, I'm pretty sure I could argue that Smash 4 was an objectively better game, and it's a large part of the reason that I significantly prefer it as a competitive game over Ultimate. Whereas when it comes to design and
Okay, that's a powerful statement, but we're going to listen.
balance, I'm not even going to try and pretend like Smash 4 did it better, right? Like, I love...
Hey, that guy, I know these two players playing on screen, huh?
Smash 4, but it was definitely quite the mess as far as design and balance is concerned. There was almost always some ridiculous top tier completely dominating the meta, and towards the end of the game, it was worse than it ever been.
No!
Then you combine that with Rage, which
No! I
for
don't want to watch this video anymore. I'll actually give you guys an opinion that I don't see very often. I think the game, at a point in time, was actually one of the most balanced Smash Bros. Games. You actually had a good ratio of like good characters that were viable in a competitive setting. Now keep in mind, obviously, Ultimate blows it out of the water with how many characters can actually compete in a competitive setting. And obviously, the game did have a bunch of really stupid stuff. It was the jankiest game for sure, which is what made it so inconsistent in tournaments.
The way that Ultimate handles Rage is probably the single biggest piece of credit I can give it.
I think the single worst mechanic in Smash 4 was Rage. I really hated that because obviously I'm a competitive player. So for me, if I'm winning a match and I'm destroying my opponent should not be rewarded with a comeback potential, and more often than not, giving your opponent Rage meant that you gave them a combo that could just kill you in 1 or 2 hits and essentially turn around the whole game because they were losing. I don't like Rage as a mechanic because it's not addressed to me. It's not addressed at competitive players. It was not meant to be played in tournaments. Why? Because Smash was never meant to be a competitive game. They do not balance the game based on competitiveness. I wish a lot of these design decisions that they make with the game that are integral parts of the mechanic, they instead made these things tuggable. It's kind of like the whole concept of like, hey, maybe we want to play with 44 of the 45 items. You know, maybe that one item is not that fun, right? It's the same concept, really.
Since generally the game feels a lot more fair. Smash Ultimate's DLC has not even finished releasing yet at the time of the recording of this video, and it's already a much better balanced game than Smash 4 was by the end of its lifespan. Which, when you consider how much larger the roster is by comparison, is an extremely impressive feat, and definitely something that is worthy of praise. This game has about 80 playable characters, and a lot of them do feel reasonably viable.
That is actually true. The fact that Ultimate is a game that allows pretty much any character to be able to be competitive. Like, you can grab almost any mid-tier or high-tier, and you can actually get pretty far in a tournament. It is to the point where a lot of the time, if you're not placing well at a tournament with a character, it's not actually a character's fault, but it is the player's fault. It's not, for example, back in the Brawl days where if you were not playing one of 15 characters, for example, rendering more than half of the roster useless, then obviously, you know, what are you doing in a competitive setting? Or for example, Melee that has less than 10 characters viable. I think the most telling factor that we can see that the game is balanced in terms of character variety really well is that we still don't have a one for sure best character. Like, I can ask 10 different pro players and they're all likely to give me a different best character. It is to the point where we cannot even agree on a best character. Whereas in every other Smash game, there has always been a clear best character.
Almost every viable character in Ultimate is viable for one of two reasons. Because they have one or two ridiculous all-purpose moves that they can use in almost every scenario, or because they have some silly gimmick attached to them that makes them powerful in an over-centralized way, but not in a balanced or interesting way, and completely changes the face of the game when it comes into play. Palutena, Ike, and Mr. Game & Watch are all great examples of that first category.
To be fair with you, the reason Palutena is good is not just because of her neutral. To be honest with you, it's her entire kit. Really, she has a background, a dash, I have armor. Her recovery is amazing. She has throw combos. She has a kill throw. She has projectiles. She has a recovery that allows her to mix up because it's a teleport and she can platform cancel it. She just has a pretty much a jack of all trades moveset on top of having, you know, broken moves such as neutral. I think Ike is a better example than Palutena in my opinion because Ike really truly relied on two moves. Neutral and grabbing, because those two things land into the upper, which is his broken move, which kills at 80. It's really hard to balance a game with 80-something characters and also give every single character an interesting varied moveset. If you go back and go to Brawl, you have a lot more examples that fit the bill of Ike to an even bigger degree. I think the worst offender of them all was Brawl Ice Thunder. The character could kill you with one grab. You had absolutely no reason to use any more other than shield and grab because shield was broken and you grabbed and they died. That was it. The issue with giving characters varied good movesets is that it's very easy to make broken characters. It's just the reason why they tend to give them 1 or 2, 3 good options and then make everything else a little mediocre because otherwise it's very hard to make sure that they're not broken. If you make a character be a jack of all trades, they tend to be ridiculous. It's why characters like Palutena are so good and are so flexible, even despite a couple nerfs, they're still up there in the tier list.
His Joker, and to a lesser extent Wario, are all great examples of that second category. Joker is a below average character for the entire game, and then he summons Arsene and just becomes ludicrously broken to the point where a lot of players have just had to resort to running away and camping him for the duration. Wario Waft is...
I do think Arsene is a little bit ridiculous. In my opinion, it will make for a more interesting character if they actually buff the traditional Joker a little bit and they nerf Arsene a bit back. Any type of combat mechanic in a competitive environment tends to make people salty or not feel nearly as good or just not have fun in a competitive environment. But I do think an important thing to keep in mind is that because they're designing 80-something characters, they want every character to feel different. And if they follow the same philosophy when balancing every single character, then every character is going to feel the same. And that's clearly something they want to avoid. With that in mind, if they were to balance every character with the same philosophy, Smash Bros. Characters are meant to be balanced with personality. They're meant to be balanced because these characters are beloved characters and franchises of millions of fans, so they have to be true to the characters. In a lot of ways, that doesn't necessarily translate to good competitive gameplay, but that's, not, again, not their focus. So it is normal that after balancing 80-something characters, you may have characters that rely on 1 or 2 gimmicks way too hard, but then you have other characters that don't rely on any type of gimmick. For example, Mario is a jack of all trades and doesn't rely on anything, but it's because he was balanced with the philosophy that this character is supposed to be good a little bit of everything and not really excel at anything. Which is why he feels like such a normal type of character, even though he's more of a combo beast. Nowadays, it's still the philosophy that you can see was different with every character that they balance. So then again, how many characters do you have that rely on an extreme gimmick? A couple, but that's essentially the characters that they had in mind. They wanted to balance that way. Does it translate to good competitive play? Not really. Was it intentional? Yes, it was.
Before I carry on, I just want to intrude this point real quick and say that I am absolutely not trying to say that this is a Smash Ultimate exclusive problem. This has been a problem in every Smash game. It was significantly worse with characters in Brawl and Smash 4, because Smash 4 is my baby, but I would never try and defend its characters from a design and balance perspective. I mean, beyond oppressive top tier is killing you at sub 30%.
How many times have I had to watch this clip of me losing even, man? Every time I heard the same thing.
In Bowser weren't good at all, and then they got buffed to have grab confirms, and they were pretty much only good because they could grab you a lot and do stupid damage off of that, and it was the most like one-dimensional thing ever.
I think Bowser and Donkey Kong in Smash 4 were likely the worst designed characters of all time in Smash 4, You basically grabbed two low-tier characters and gave them an insanely broken grab combo because they already had insane grab range in general. You turned two characters that pretty much nullified their entire moveset. There was no scenario in time where you did not want to grab, because grab did the most damage for combos, it was the best punish, it was the fastest punish, and it was also the kill confirm. There was essentially no scenario or point in time where you wanted to use any move but grab. It made the entire character do one thing, both of them.
Ultimate's top tiers probably wouldn't seem so boring and one-dimensional if the meta was shifting a little more often, and we regularly saw new contenders rise up in the meta game to challenge them.
I don't like to claim that the Ultimate top tiers are boring, when in fact I think Ultimate top tiers are actually some of the most fun we had in years in Smash. I mean, every character plays completely different. You have Inkling, you have Wolf, you have Peach. All of these are completely different styles. You have Joker to the mix. You have Pokemon Trainer. You have a character that transforms in 3 different characters that is solely within the top tier ranks of most professional player ranks. Has been in grand finals at Evo, and that is such an interesting character design. A character that literally flips through 3 different kits, and you have to play around them all. Lately, we've had all the characters be more successful, like Zero Suit and Game & Watch, that are being in the conversation for being top tier. I think it's an interesting metagame. I mean, I don't play competitively myself, but I enjoy watching it very often, and we talk about it in the channel pretty often. And I don't think out of like 1 or 2 bad apples of the bunch, you can say all of them are boring or one-dimensional.
We'd all rather see characters get buffed than nerfed. Characters have been buffed, but they've generally meant nothing, and a lot of the buffs given to low-tier characters have been outright silly. Instead of fixing some of these characters' fundamental flaws, the game's patches have only improved what was already good about previously weak characters and not addressed anything meaningful.
I actually think you're 100% right, but I think that's intentional. One thing I noticed is that the balance team's theme is that they want to address every little change as subtle as possible. Other than the teacher nerf, which I think is the heaviest, most detailed set of patch notes that we see for any character so far, is that they want to address every change very subtly because they don't want to upset the balance of the game, which is very delicate. They don't want to make a character way too good or break a character, and they don't want to, for example, nerf a character to oblivion. They took it a little bit too far with Peach, in my opinion, but then again, that's one character out of like 80-something. So it is still good track record, regardless, even if it's not flawless. And they also don't want to fix integral issues because, believe it or not, a character having flaws is still part of the design of the character. For example, it is part of the design of the character that Donkey Kong is not nearly as fast as Sonic. It is part of the design that Fox is a very powerful and very combo-heavy character, but he's one of the lightest characters in the game. And if you go and pretty much fix every single flaw or bad things that these characters have, then they're not going to be that character anymore.
His forward tilt, one of his best moves already, now goes a little bit further, so...
I agree. I mean, I think a lot of the time these changes don't really amount to nothing. Like, it doesn't really make a difference to make Donkey Kong's forward tilt and go a little bit farther. And I've seen some other really stupid changes, such as this character's jab does 1% damage. Or, for example, this character's whatever, it has 1 frame less of cooldown, even though it has 44 frames of cooldown. Now it has 23. It makes no difference. I mean, if you really go and think about it, how can you fix, for example, Donkey Kong's weaknesses without breaking the character? Think about it. It almost feels like the developers are trapped between a sword and a wall, where they have to buff stupid things to appease the fans, because a lot of people sometimes will read the patch notes. They'll say, oh my god, Donkey Kong got buffed. Oh, cool, I'm happy. That's it. They don't even actually read what he was buffed. Same case when Joker was nerfed. I mentioned in my Joker video that Joker was nerfed, and a lot of people didn't actually read the fine print. It's kind of a fake nerf because he wasn't really that nerfed. So in the next couple of minutes, he makes a lot of very valid and interesting points where he just talks about how they should maybe potentially nerf characters or buff characters. And a lot of it I actually agree with. I mean, a lot of it is very reasonable critique. But a lot of the time, these critiques fall in place of like, what if Nintendo was actually trying to balance the game based on competitive play? But at the end of the day, it's not something that are going to do it. But in my opinion, while it is a very valid critique to say that, I don't think it's a critique that really matters, because, to put it simply, Nintendo is not going to change their ways about this. Nintendo's philosophy of doing things is simply different. We may not agree with it. I think at the end of the day, they clearly have a different mission and a different goal. I still think that Nintendo's probably going to look at this, because Nintendo actually watches a lot of these videos. They actually keep up with social media a lot more than people think. They're just hidden away in the crowd. They have the Nintendo ninjas are actually real. I've seen them in action, they're pretty intense, but they're going to look at this, they're going to report on it, and they're going to just go, well, yeah, these are good points, but, you know, we have a different philosophy with the way we're doing it, with the way the developers are doing things, so then we can't just change the entire philosophy of everything because of competitive players. They have to pretty much appease everyone. While I do think there's compromises that actually will make the game better without actually making it just competitive players, for example, fixing things like the buffer, will not make the casual player's day worse. Making online more bearable will not make anyone's day worse. It will just really improve everyone's, day. Changes like that are definitely things that I think Nintendo should be more receptive, and I think it's much more valid to critique them for, because it is things that they should change, and even casual players can agree with that. There's actually quite a bit left to this video, but the rest of the video goes on about more opinionated takes, such as, for example, maybe running through shields is a good or a bad thing. Why is it a bad thing? Or maybe some more deep down mechanics. Some of this I actually agree with quite a bit. Some of it I don't really agree. But it's not necessarily something that I feel like I had an interesting opinion about. It's more so like, I don't agree with that. It's just not my preference. And I don't think that makes for, an interesting commentary piece. I wanted to actually use this video as a platform to talk about more interesting issues, such as the design balance, such as what things the game has that are potentially good objectively or potentially bad objectively. And that line of thinking to me was much more interesting for the scope of this video. Once again, if you guys wanted to watch this full video, then I recommend watching it in your own time, because he does touch up on like more complex mechanics, and I can't review everything for this video because it will just make it impossibly long. I mean, this video is already very long, and I appreciate you guys for watching up to this point regardless. With that said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell to stay tuned with all notifications. I'll see you guys around 10 a.m. sharp. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. So recently we've been experiencing some very intense content drops in the Zero channel. Keeping these daily uploads up while there's absolutely nothing going on has been quite challenging. To the point where I've pretty much taken it to Twitter, what can we even make a video on? Shortly after that, I got an email. So imagine me just laying down in my bed, and I get a ping on my phone. I go and take a look, expecting maybe some business or something important, and then I see the headline: a Japanese virtual YouTuber got bullied on her stream when she was challenged by a pro and made an apology video. I'm just sitting there like, did I read that right? Conveniently enough, the name of the guy who sent me the email is just Gamer. That's his first and last name. Gamer. Anyway, the guy just pretty much blurs it out and says, Zero, a Japanese virtual YouTuber who plays a lot of Smash, got somewhat bullied in her stream recently. She was up against a local professional and was jeered a lot. I was wondering what opinion you have regarding it anyway. She was more or less pressured to make an apology stream because of it. Now, what I mean with this is that instead of having the woman be in the webcam, we have an anime girl be in the shot. So we don't have a person. It's just the anime girl talking. Now, in case you didn't believe it, this is actually very popular in Japan. It's called virtual YouTubing or something along those lines, but there's a million channels. There's actually some Smash specific channels. Raito, for example, the professional Duffin player, uses virtual YouTubing, so he talks as a dog instead of like an anime girl, he uses a dog. And there's also this weird reaction channel where it's a lizard, like a velociraptor talks. Whatever, there's some pretty weird stuff out there. Nonetheless, obviously, I haven't watched enough anime because I do not speak fluent Japanese. To the English speaker, let me get this straight. Aqua did nothing wrong, and to hell with the hentai. Apadango is a pro famous Smash Bros player. He did a 10k yen SC challenging her to a 1v1 match, but to who watched? That SC money did not matter. A chance to play with a pro player doesn't come every day, and Aqua took it. She even asked HL staff if she can go 1v1 with him, and they say yes. It's her stream, her channel. She has the right to do anything she wants. You auntie is jealous. Become a famous pro player or F off. She didn't even do this apology video, but she's a good girl, and she feels bad after reading all of his negative comments. Seriously, F the anti. Now, as you can tell, for someone like me, I am beyond confused on what is going on, so I had to definitely look into this. Anyway, I emailed back the guy, and I'm like, do you have more details? Because this is confusing. Keep in mind, at this point in time, I have absolutely no idea what is going on. I feel like I'm in the other side of YouTube where you're just finding some weird content. And I have no idea how this is even loosely close or related to Smash Bros. In general. Anyway, the guy writes me back. Let me just try to give a summary based on what I understand from the event. The VTuber known as Aqua has a stream of Smash for her fans. This happens on a regular basis. However, what happened was, when she was about to end her stream, a professional Japanese player, Apadango, by the way, Apadango is one of the most famous Japanese players. I will say one of the most well-known, especially to American audiences. He speaks almost fluent English. However, when I try to contact him and ask him for a quote or for him to talk about the video, because I said, hey, I'm recording on this video, do you have anything to say? He said,
I have nothing to say.
Pretty much refused to talk about the issue. So, I mean, I have no idea what he will have in mind about this, but whatever, he refused to talk. The VTuber obviously got excited, and so she asked her fans and the HoloLive, the VTuber idol company. Wait, so they have idol company. Just like, for example, like the famous girls in like Korea and Japan, where like they have like these agency companies and they manage them, right? And anime has gotten way too far. Wait, this is way deeper into the rabbit hole than I expected. So she had to ask them if she can even take the challenge to play Abadango. She asked if they can accept the challenge. Both the fans and the company said yes. And what actually happened this time during the match, there were toxic people in the stream, both parties composed of the most toxic of simps. I see we finally have covered the word simp in the Zero channel. It was a matter of time. Which composes of the JP Idol worshiper extremists. So basically this guy's saying the extreme simps that are worshipping this idol took it too far. Wasn't expecting Japan to have toxic people at Smash 2, but alas. Dude, I feel like I'm in an episode of Black Mirror. This is the plot for an episode. This in turn hurted her during the stream because a lot of entitlement from fans and some of those who are jealous to fight the pro began polluting the chat in the video that I sent you, man. It was more or less her apology video due to how bad she felt to her fans. So let me get this straight. Anime virtual girl plays Smash Bros with the fans. I mean, when you look at the video, look, I'm a massive weed, but this is absolutely out of my expertise. I mean, okay, maybe not my expertise, but I'm certainly not in my element right now. This is not what I expected. That's supposed to be like a code or something over here in the name of the video. There's a massive amount of people watching. Okay, look, I need captions here. Oh, there's Abadango! Yeah, Abadango is like apparently Omega famous in Japan. Like he appears in like commercials and magazines. He's actually a very big deal in Japan. He's one of the main people. He gets to work a lot with Nintendo. Wait, she plays Cloud? Okay, I did not expect that. Abadango go Palutena. Yo, Abadango going hard. He's not even sandbagging. He's like, yo, you're not even a professional player. That was definitely a segment where you did not want your parents to hear that without headphones. Well, clearly she seems very excited to be playing Abadango in the first place. Oh, wait, she knows how to play. She's doing a theater shield and all that. Alright, alright. I expect a more casual level, to be honest. Oh, Yoshi's winning! Yoshi's winning, kinda! Oh, Abadango camping. Oh, she recovered. Okay. Yo, Abadango going full try hard here, going at the ledge, doing combos and all that. My man was not trying to lose. Oh, the double back. Oh, he been spamming back. That should be it, yeah. Oh my god, dude. Oh, you're dead. Oh, limit. I like how the translations so far have been completely useless. Oh, that's it, that's it, that's it. Oh, come on, Abadango, do not miss that. Look, she's having fun at least. So anyway, I'm confused. This just seems like she got the chance to play a very famous person in Japan in terms of the Smash with Queen. And we all pretty much know Abadango. If you play competitive Smash, you know of him at least somewhat. He's not as popular in Ultimate because he doesn't travel as much for Ultimate anymore. But definitely within Japan in Smash 4, he was a consistent top 10 throughout the world. I mean, I'm pretty confused here how this can end up negatively. I mean, it seems that they just played for about like half an hour here. You know, Abadango going multiple characters. He plays Palutena, Meta Knight, that was his main in Smash 4 along with Mewtwo. It seems the other people as well in the arena also got the chance to play. So it wasn't just the virtual YouTuber playing, it was also like the fans playing Abadango and all that. I mean, this seems like it ended, you know, pretty positively as well. So I'm a bit confused on how this can end wrong, you know? Now, so you're wondering, okay, so she played a professional player for about 30 minutes, who cares? As it turns out, there's quite a bit of drama. And this is where the story takes a darkest turn. So the only way for us to really get the story here is that we're going to have to read the comments and we're going to have to use the good almighty Google Translate. I've seen the apologies broadcast earlier, but I'm not doing anything bad except for the successful spot chop. That's gotta be Smash. I'm going to do it much longer than usual, play against the people before that, and fight with the listeners when reading Smash chat. So I don't care. It's no good for Akuma to give priority to professional gamers. Okay. I think the reason people are upset here is simply because she was doing an arena with the viewers. So the viewers were waiting, you know, to play games with her. And then Abadango comes in and suddenly the stream is about Abadango. And then all the fans that were waiting, they felt left out. It's because apparently some portion of the fan base are like extremist simp based on the email wording. I mean, is what he said. These people pretty much took it to heart that their virtual waifu goddess, you know, denied them attention, and then they took it very far and started harassing her and bullying her online. This went on all their social media channels. They left a bunch of hateful channels. Some threats were made. Before we know, she's pretty much apologizing to this sector of fans because, well, at the end of the day, you know, she definitely was not having a good time. Also, some people say that it is the same because both Apple, Dango, and other people are still in names, and it is easy to think that people who do not know the neighborhood of Smash are just suddenly coming to fight with money. Also, here's a confusing part of this whole debacle is that apparently Abadango put money here, or like he put like a challenge or something like that. Because right here it says he did a 10k yen, which is I think it's like $100. We'll have to fact check. Yeah, about $100, give or take. Challenging her to a 1v1 match. That money that I'm at tends to play with a pro player doesn't come every day. And Aqua took it. Wait, so did she lose $100 or did she win $100 for taking like a game or something? Some money was in the line pretty much. So it seems entirely the drama is based on people just being upset that she gave more attention to this professional gamer over them essentially. And they took that to a very personal level. Even so to the fact that the apology video is 41 minutes. You already know if a YouTuber makes an apology video that has hundreds of thousands of views and it starts with, does it start with the classic it absolutely starts with the YouTuber like, I did not think I was going to be making this video. Now keep in mind the reason I'm making jokes is simply just to, you know, take a little bit of the green factor away from this because apparently it was pretty serious bullying that she obtained. And not to make a video, obviously. And the video does have quite a bit of dislikes. I mean, 2,000 dislikes. If you go and look at the actual broadcast, it also has a bunch of dislikes. So you can see clearly a good amount of people were very upset about this, and it seems to have even carried on to her future videos as well. They also seem to have an amount of dislikes, so that the salty people, you know, translate it over, but obviously as the internet goes internet, eventually people get bored and then they move on. This type of scenario gives us two real answers. Is that the first one is this to blame Smash players? Now keep in mind, we don't have the full scope of the situation because I don't speak Japanese. This was just